Kakadosh Bokeror, we're just continuing with the halachot. This is going to be the halachot of Pesach that falls on Erev Shabbat. We spoke about that we still do the Bedikat Chametz on the night, which is going to be Thursday night, as if that Friday night was going to be Pesach, because you're not going to do Bedikat Chametz on Friday night. Now we said that there was an opinion that if you forgot, then you would be able to get a goy to come and carry around the candle. However, we don't hold of that, and we just do Bitul Chametz on Friday night if you forgot to do the Bedikat Chametz on Thursday night. If you didn't do it on Thursday night, you could still do it Friday during the day. But again, if you did not do it the entire Friday and comes Friday night, you only do bitul chametz. To do with the selling of the chametz, lecha techila, we still sell the chametz at the same time as a normal year. Which means, technically speaking, I would say to myself, listen, I could sell chametz until Knisat Shabbat. Why? Because anyway, I'm eating chametz and I'm allowed to eat chametz even on Shabbat in itself until Shabbat morning, whatever time it is. It's going to be 11 o'clock, 10 something. So therefore, right, there shouldn't be a problem. But in order not to make a mistake in other years, so therefore what's going to happen is also we sell the chametz like in any normal year. However, the one heter that's going to happen this year is melacha. What does that mean? We know on Erev Pesach, mitzad chatzot, once it becomes half day, it's a sur to do melacha. That's why there's a question that if Pesach comes out on Friday night, and if it's going to be a sur b'melacha on chatzot, do you say shuva the Mosae Shabbat before? Because since whenever you say shuva, it means that you're doing the 6 days of the work. So here, technically, you're not allowed to do work on the 6th day, in the middle of the day, chatzot. There's actually a machlok at the poskim, do you say shuva on that Mosae Shabbat or not? This year, anyway, the heter is that here you are allowed to work until the regular time that you would work any other regular Erev Shabbat. Because since it's not Erev Pesach, so on Erev Pesach, you have the chovah, you're not allowed to work after chatzot. Here, you don't need to do that. However, though, you're allowed to do, the same thing applies to Agalat Kelim and Afiyat Matzot, and the hachanot. So all these things of preparations of the seder, you're allowed to do until Knisat Shabbat. Now a person should prepare for the seder on Erev Shabbat. So for example, if they're going to clean, whether it's the vegetables, whether it's going to be the preparation of the memelach, they're preparing the salt water, or they're going to come and they're going to do anything else for, let's say, roasting the zroa, right? Roasting the part of the seder plate, or the cooking of the egg, right? The roasting of the egg. All those things, it's better to do it already on Erev Shabbat. Do not wait for Shabbat to do it. So therefore, you do all these things on Erev Shabbat, and a person should be careful to set the timer in order to recognize that on Mosae Shabbat, he's going to be up very, very late, in order that all of a sudden in the middle of the seder, you don't have the times, switching. Now, the last halacha, and then tomorrow we'll continue. The last halacha is going to be an important one is that the food that you're going to be making should be food which is going to be kashela Pesach. Or it would be chametz that does not stick to the pots. The reason why is because if you're going to have chametz, which is going to be sticking to the pots, how do you clean it now on Shabbat morning? How do you do with it exactly? So usually the way that we said the best way to do it is, you already have kashela Pesach food. And by having kashela Pesach food and you're just eating, let's say a pita or whatever for bread, just for the chametz, so therefore you're going to be out of any problems whatsoever of having chametz in your house, because you have kashela Pesach, the pots and the food, and then let's say you have a pita. So the way that I gave the example, even though we're going to speak about it, Lina, the next few days, how are you mikayem all the different sudot? Friday night for sure shouldn't be a problem, but it's more going to be Shabbat morning. How do you do it with the times and being mikayem the times, right? How do you fulfill with the times of the chametz? The way that I told you the best is that, for example, let's say on Shabbat morning, right? Forget about now Sudat Shlishit. Let's say pretend that this is going to be your Sudat Shlishit and you're having it early in the morning. What you do is you have 2 tablecloths. Right, the first tablecloth on the top, you're going to have your pita and your, let's say, a few salads or whatever it is, or just even the pita. And what you do is you come, you make the kiddush, you make the hamotzi, and you eat your bread. Once you finish having the kabetzav bread for the hamotzi, just for the netilat yadayim with the bracha or kazait, right? At least you had a kazait of bread for the bikat hamazon. What you do is you wrap up and you get rid of it, right? You wash your hands, everything is gone. You got rid of the first tablecloth. Now you have the second tablecloth, and you're eating outside. The second tablecloth is what? Is actually now going to be kashela Pesach. So you bring out all the food. All the food is kashela Pesach. You can continue your meal for another 4 hours. There's no problem. The problem is you're not allowed to eat chametz after a certain time. But if all your food is already going to be kashela Pesach, you've gotten out of this problem that now you're able to to continue your Suda, and you don't have a problem whatsoever. So again, that will speak about whether it's going to be Suda Shniyah, Suda Shlishit, how do you do the differences and so on, but at least this is important for somebody to know, to prepare, right, for on Shabbat, which comes out on Pesach.